absolutely magnificent play. Nobody was ready for it.
And I love it too, because we've seen Cappy in a lot of these moments. I do feel, especially on this map, Cappy has been taking a lot of the heat, especially on that first defensive half. Every time they were, borderline, solo holding that B side, keeping it held for as long as they possibly could, even with a full team stampeding towards them. Now the side switch has come through. They're willing to be confident enough to go for these takes. And certainly that round, it pulled off the initial 2K. So much breathing room there. Stuff we like to see.
Beautiful work coming out. Now, though, it is going to be the operator in the hands of Ghost instead. I think they managed to pick up that free upgrade, so we might see a little bit of pandemonium being caused, especially if OnlyFans decide to go in for a bit of a dry peek. Right now, though, looking at the ultimates, Jay does have the Euro ult available for some information, or if they want to just try and go for a bit of a fake, or just cause a distraction on the site, they have that to work with. They also have the lockdown from Run, which means that we're probably going to be looking at an A-site hit. I think that ultimate is most effective on that particular site. No utility from the side of the defenders to really break it either, though they do have that Cosmic Divine available for a retake. You might just see them playing a little bit passive, trying to go in for a retake setup instead of getting super aggressive. Right now, though, we do have a little bit of a technical pause coming in. I'm not sure which player from which team exactly is having some difficulty with their internet, if I'm not wrong, but either way, this map, it has been exactly what I expected out of the series so far, just neck and neck, both teams kind of battling it out. And I really have to commend Plymouth Quokkas here, because despite them being down on that first map, sometimes a lot of teams, they take a really bad mental hit. They're not able to quite cope with it, but they're doing super well.
But I think that's the thing, right? Like, if I was Plymouth right now, or at least a friend of Plymouth, I'd be like, you guys have come through so amazingly this season. You were good last season. It's been brilliant this season. And again, it's only going to get better from the get-go. Of course, naturally, if they want to win this map right now, they want to pull it to that third and final map with Haven. I think even if, worst case scenario for them, if OnlyFans take it now, I think I would still be proud if I was them,
I completely agree with you, because the fact that they almost made that comeback on map number 1, and whether they win or not, like you mentioned, they've definitely demonstrated that they are one of the best teams in the circuit. They will be placing third, and that's definitely a commendation by itself. Back to the game, though, we are finally starting off again. Like we talked about a little bit while we were having that bit of a pause, we are going to be seeing that lockdown invested towards this A site. Off the back of that, looking for a very quick, aggressive push right now. The Astro Smoke does come through, but the lockdown will buy a lot of space. Nobody will be allowed to play on site. In fact, everyone's going to be pushed all the way back towards these crucial angles, and complete site control will be taken for almost free. I don't think there is a counter lockdown available to push them off site quite yet. Either way, though, it is going to be Snoopy starting things off with the first kill. Gets a second as well. Ghost whipping that operator shot. Huge damage. Run manages to finally bite back here. Jay finding one as well, and things swing back in the favor of these attackers. 3 players left. The Euro ult is going to be invested, and Jay will be able to sniff out the flank right now off the back of that play. Still trying to go into the crosshairs of these players. 1v1. Run versus Raven. The turret being put up is going to give away some information. Instantly broken, though. Clock is ticking. They have to stick half the spike here. They managed to go for it. Will they be able to get the kill? They do. And what a clutch coming out of Raven as they get to 11. Went down to the wire. What a retake. What a round. Beautiful work.
So close at the end there. Really unfortunate indeed. Again, Run knowing to place that bot down. Okay, it's 1 versus 1, but I, of course, have these bots in my pocket. The only thing you can do in that situation. But yeah, Raven just made it look like it was nothing. Oh yeah, I deal with your bot instantaneously. I stick that half defuse. I go for swing. Job is done. And again, OnlyFans edging closer now to match point. Yeah, but you need to come for something a little bit punchier. I think that was really decent of them then, though. They did have so much breathing room. It just, yeah, the retake came through so well there.
They were prepared for it. They were more than prepared for it. But at the end of the day, huge credit to Raven to be able to just find that kill, find the timings perfectly. They knew exactly what they were doing. Getting that half to defuse, forcing the swing out of the Killjoy, and connecting that last kill. Phenomenal work right now. Once again, it is going to be Quokkas in a very unenviable position. They try to play for this retake scenario right now. Adibera finds that first kill onto site. Naro's position known as well. Going to be aggressed on, so they still find that kill. Bladestorm not quite able to connect, and these kills right now are going definitely in the direction of these attackers. Zubair only has 1 HP and a dream to work with, but they're still alive, so the killjoy utility is going to remain standing. It's all down to these 2 remaining players who have fallen all the way back here. The spike going to be dropped in a very awkward angle. Zara also has that Viper's Pit if they want to really invest it right now. Though with that numbers advantage being their favor, it does seem like they no longer want to do that. Raven knows that there is a player on this position. Will be spotted out by the alarm, but tries to get a little bit of spam damage, though it's not going to be quite connecting. It's all down to just Capybara. A 1v4, Spectre in hand, 36 HP, and a dream to deny matches. At this point, they're going to be TPing right into the crosshairs of Sleepy. I like how Sleepy and Zara were just sitting on the spike the entire time. They were like, you gave us the spike, it's ours now. Thank you very much for the delivery.
Yeah, very awkward retake to even try and get that spike though, right? Like, especially when you're at a numbers disadvantage like that, the utility you have doesn't quite enable any kind of pushback from that defense either. Unfortunately, you know, especially if you're a Plymouth Quackers fan, that is indeed match point, series point, I will point out too.
Turret out.
Could this be it? Our OnlyFans about to go for a little bit of a ruckus in the final against Grocery Store. Or are we going to see something massive from Plymouth Quackers? Remember that Viper's Pit, it's still up for the defense right now too. They could just really rely on that to just cut off one of these sites in the late round. Raven does have to play Storm as well. Could get a little bit fruity with it if this push does come down B, which I believe it might do. Spike in hand. Looks like Luna and Capybara are willing to make this play together. Raven taking a few warning shots. Bit of pressure being applied to A as well, just to go for the old bait, try and keep them on their toes. One picks up Java. Here comes a Blade Storm. Are they going to be able to land any of these shots already? The very swift cleanup from the side of Plymouth Quackers. Remember that Spike is on the top of B long. Are they going to go for the rotate? Yes, they are.
Yeah, they have complete control of this A side. Look at the positioning being held right now by the 3 players. They've gone all the way towards backside, so of course it makes perfect sense that it's going to be where they're putting that spike down. A 2v5 situation. The Blade Storm invested as well by Raven. They're going to hear the sound cue here. Raven has got to go absolutely huge to somehow make this retake worse. But even if they can make it expensive, it's going to be what they need. Run already with 3 on the round. It's all down to Sleepy here. They've been able to step up huge on this Astra's role, but in this kind of situation, it's more a question of what can they find than them being able to clutch it out. They go for the swing, connect that first kill. Really, really good damage coming out of them so far. They are aware of the positioning as well. Spot that second player. Not quite able to connect the kill though, and it's going to be Run, the hero of the round. 4 kills to their name. And more than that, they keep the side of Plymouth Quackers still in this series. They need 3 more for overtime. Much more doable job than we saw in that last map, though. With that buy kicking back in, especially Raven on that operator. 4 ultimates for the side of OnlyFans. It's going to be an uphill battle all the way.
I think that's the thing that you've got to take your hats off to Plymouth Quackers for. They are willing to just try and pull this more and more. Keep it neck and neck. It's really beautiful stuff every single time, and again, every season they come back stronger. Same time, OnlyFans here, they were a formidable force when they were playing under Boosted E-Girls, and they've come back. Yes, it's been a bit of a roster change, and they are prepping themselves for game changes behind the scenes, and that's certainly something I'm very excited to see. Ooh, Java opening engagement going in the favor of OnlyFans too. Ghost of all people as well. Lost that aggressive duelist already.
A huge kill right now. This is going to be the Seekers investor to find some information. They know that there's going to be some heavy presence towards this A site. Off the back of that, it's going to kind of stop this rotation from coming through. We've seen Run being able to pull off some phenomenal action in the previous round. However, Java not quite ready for the position, and Run will connect that kill, bringing things back down to a 4v4. They managed to kind of walk their way onto the site right now. Run also has that lockdown available to try and do some work with. However, the position being held by Sleepy is incredibly powerful right now. Zubair shutting down Run is huge there. That's going to be no more lockdown available for these attackers to buy some more time on the spike. 3v4 retake attempt coming in right now. The Prowler's invested as well to track exactly where they are. There is going to be still Jay on the lurk here. It's going to depend on the men whether they can find this kill or not, and they do that. This lockdown though, it's finding so much value. 2 remaining players make that 1. It's all down to just Sleepy here. Will they be able to do it?
This is it. Zubair's gone, but that lockdown has not started. Pushback has still happened. Sleepy can try and reposition themselves to go for these 1 versus 1s. Just try and stick to the fuse as long as they can. There we have it, Luna. A 3rd for the round. Plymouth
Make
still
their
in it
fear
to
your
win it,
weapon.
pulling it closer
Or
and
use a
closer.
gun,
Can they
whichever.
get the 2 rounds we need to bring this to overtime? I hope so. I want to see this go the full way. I want to see Haven's act.
I would love to see Haven too. And like you mentioned, only 2 rounds away after winning these last couple of scrappy rounds. Their economy is going to be in just a bit of a better state. They also do have that lockdown available on Run again. And we saw the kind of damage it did the last time they were able to invest it. The economy in a bit of a rocky spot for the side of Oni fans, where they're going to have to kind of play around with the buy. I think that they still will be able to invest at least in a half buy, but this map, it's going down to the wire. Very, very likely that we're going to be seeing overtime considering how, the economy is shaping up for the side of Oni fans. But the interesting thing to note here is that, at least for the side of Plymouth Quokkas, they've looked very, very strong in these last couple of rounds. Being able to just constantly play map control like we saw in the beginning coming out of Uni fans, it's really what they're winning at. They're also kind of stacking together, despite one or two of their players across the map, Jay in particular, finding some value. I think them being able to consistently get those trades coming in, and of course, Run in particular, last few rounds, huge impact coming out of them. I think every single player is starting to step up for this particular team, and that's been the biggest difference maker over the course of this half so far.
Stepping up being the main thing there again, just really loving how this tournament is starting to shape the longer that this tournament is run as well. And granted, to be honest, I hope one day we will also see Plymouth themselves try and go for game changers, just as Oni fans will be attempting to. Oh, gorgeous entry pick going in the favor, though, of the Quokkas. Raven falling down, and again, the aggression from that duelist. Yeeted and deleted from the hands of Oni fans. No trade coming through either. Does look like a bit of a free execute onto this B site too.
Yeah, it seems like the other players are kind of trying to pinch this lurk down,
Portal
catch them off
closed.
guard, get those couple of kills. There's going to be no TP available for Jay either if they want to get out of a bit of a dicey situation. Talking about dicey situations, there's just going to be noise, the bait and switch being made towards this A site right now. And it's keeping these defenders on lock. Like you mentioned, this B side almost completely empty with the exception of that Killjoy turret. That being broken, it's going to be at least a sign that there is going to be heavy presence for that particular area of the map. So the timing though, Zara still finds Run. Still gonna be a huge kill. It's gonna be a 4v4 retake though, and the spike and the map control is on there.
Oh, well, Java is there. Jay will fall down. This alleviates some of his breathing room so this rotate can come through the south of the map.
Here.
Again, this duo plane is coming through from the rest of Oni fans. They have to kind of start to get stuck in. I think they're waiting on some util before this stampede can start to come through. There we go. Super just waiting there for that dog to start flying through. Capybara once again trying to keep hold of this position. Super swing a second one there. Sleepy takes down Ghost. And there we have it. Oni fans, a 2-0 victory. Wowsy, wowsy, wowsy.
What a performance coming out of them, especially considering how scrappy their buy was in this last particular round. They invested everything they had in it. Of course, the Spectres in that kind of close range, just shredding these players in that backside apart. A really phenomenal performance coming out of Oni fans, who are going to be moving on to that grand finals, a revenge matchup like you mentioned. But, for the side of Plymouth Quokkas, we have to give them their due. They almost came back on map 1. Map 2, they looked much, much more convincing. In particular, both Run and Jay were able to put up numbers. Though I think the real difference maker here across both sides, it's gotta have to be Raven. I think they've dropped 54 kills across 2 maps. That is insane.
Insanity. Absolute insanity. Again, I know this is not only a team that are playing in this tournament, they are working towards game changers themselves. And I really wish them all the best, because it's really lovely to see things like this. It's the importance of these kind of grassroots scenes too. It gives the extra experience, the extra kind of competitiveness, the extra practice as well for, a lot of these players to actually go for game changers eventually too. Plymouth as well. Like, honestly, Plymouth have captured my heart so much the last 2 seasons. And I feel so sad for them. I believe that, this was certainly the strongest we've seen them thus far. I really hope that they don't let this kind of deflate them a little bit, because I think that they are just such a brilliant team. We've seen the energy from them throughout the tournament too. And I wish them all the best, and I can't wait to see them next season either. But Oni fans, a 2-0 victory, and they're going to be going against Grocery Store as well, that's going to be a spicy grand final, to be honest.
I am super excited to watch that one already because I think both of these teams they've been kind of top notch here over the course of this event. I think the last time that both of these teams faced off against each other as well, it was super scrappy. Like you mentioned, a little bit of a revenge matchup coming in, but yeah, I think that's going to be all we're seeing from Plymouth Quokkas. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, there's always next season, and I hope that they do come back stronger in this. They just need to work on trading. I think that was their biggest problem throughout this entire series. The rounds that they won, they were able to kind of keep their numbers in the same order. And of course, we saw some heroic plays coming out of them individually. But overall, I think today it was just better trading and better map control that we saw coming out of the side of Oni fans. And I think that's what's really made the difference here and gotten them the victory.
100%. We will be having a quick little break. So do not go anywhere. We will have an interview coming right up. You do not want to miss this. See you very, very shortly.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
Welcome back to Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland Women and Non-Binary Valorant Tournament. We have just seen an incredible 2-0 come through by OnlyFans, haven't we, Zach?
Wow. Well, to give a quick recap, Oni fans, they came, they saw, they conquered. Like you mentioned, 2-0. First map, it was a really strong first half on Fracture, 9-3. At the end of it, you did see a little bit of a comeback coming out of Plymouth Quokkas, but they really couldn't overcome that lead. Map number 2, of course, it was Pearl. It was much closer, a 6-6 half, if I'm not wrong, in the beginning. But once they switched over to that defense, just a double controller, and of course Raven on that duelist, being able to pull out that operator, get a couple of nifty frags, it was just done by the end of it. But right now, we're done with games for the day, but we're not done for the day quite yet, because I do believe we have a very exciting interview coming up with the winning team.
We do. As you can see, we did just mention her, but here is Raven themselves, the things we love to see. I mean, to be honest, from the get-go, fair play. I don't know if you were aware of this, but you dropped significant numbers tonight. I think it was 30 and then 24, 54 kills in total. Wow. This is Well, it certainly has translated through a 1.36 KPR on Fracture and a 1.04 on Pearl. Again, though, Plymouth, hats off to them. They did try and fight back, especially, of course, Fracture. It can be very attacker-sided. But you guys just pulled it through to the end. You secured that dub for yourselves. The thing is, right, you guys are going to be playing against Grocery Store now in the finals. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I'm a little bit nervous because last time we lost, but we didn't lose so badly. We lost 2-1. We did score that Fracture map against them, although I have a feeling that they will now be banning Fracture. It is one of our best maps. But yeah, I feel like we can beat them. We need to just play as we did today. We need to gel together. We need to work together. I know they'll probably be voting us because they are, they're a strong team that have team experience themselves. I know Rentar and Larita, they were playing with us last term. Yes. And they have both, gone on to play really well in this tournament as well. So, we know how they play, but they have improved a lot since we played with them. So
yeah, certainly so. And I think, well, certainly for us as casters, that gives us a really interesting storyline to run with. And for the viewers at home too, it gives them that little bit of fun, kind of like friendly rivalry moment to watch. And again, you guys have a bit of experience within, the Game Changers calls, things like that. I do believe, are you guys still working towards Game Changers? Last time I checked, you were.
Yeah, so our roster at the moment is me and Grace, Sleepy. Zoo and Java are our subs at the moment. And we have 3 other players. We have Meg, Joanne, and oh my gosh, I can't believe I've forgotten our last person. She's going to hate me. She's going to hate me. She's going to be screaming at me now. I feel awful. Genuinely, I feel so awful. Millie, my God, why can I forget Millie? I'm so sorry, Millie. I love you, Millie.
Oh, well, that does seem like quite a bit of talent that you have on your side, and your performance is even more impressive today, considering that it was a 2-0 coming out of you guys. But I have a couple of questions as well. I think that on map number 1, you had a really strong start, like we talked about. But in that second half, it did seem like Plymouth Quokkas, they were coming back. At one point, you were almost tied up, just 2 rounds ahead. So what was kind of going through your minds, especially that thrifty round that you converted, like before the round and over the course of the round?
Well, I mean, at that point, the pressure was on us to secure that last round, and they were just, they had nothing to lose. They were clawing back. They had such great mental, being able to gain so many rounds, so many significant rounds after we had. I think we were at 12-6 at one point, and then they put it back to like 12-10 or something. So yeah, it was really just us trying to go into a timeout, reset our mental, and just think, what do we need to do to secure this one final round? Not just winning the game, it's just securing this one round. And Zara, of course, our IGL, she set us up for that, and Narcissa, our coach, gave us some really good tips. So yeah.
All right. Well, last question from me. On Pearl again, like when you were in that 2v3 kind of situation on that retake, I think the round that I'm talking about, where you were in that 1v1 against that Killjoy. You just went for half the stick on that spike. I know the clock was ticking, but apart from that, what was going through your mind in that kind of clutch situation?
They just said she's backside, and I was like, right, okay. A plan came into mind. Usually when I play, it's like a plan comes into my mind, and I don't change from that plan. I'm like, this is my plan. I'm doing it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I was like, okay, she's backside. I have this amount of time. Smoke the both sites, half it. Hope and pray that she thinks that I'm faking it and waiting for a peak. Half it. And then she peeks, hope and pray that the spray control, it works. I get the spray and pray. It worked, and then stick the rest of the half. Yeah, that was one that went through my mind.
Those
Really.
those jittery hands.
Really, really phenomenal performance. Congratulations again on your win, and
Thank you.
also on the 54 kills that you dropped across 2 maps. I think that's the most impressive figure we've seen yet.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Well, thank you, Raven, for talking to us. And again, we wish you the best in the finals and also again in those Game Changers quals.
Have a
Thank
nice night.
you. Bye.
My. Haven't we been treated to some prime plays this evening? And Zach, speaking of prime, special shout out to Prime Gaming, to Prime Student, and of course, Omen, very kindly sponsoring this event. Zach, any closing words tonight?
I just can't wait for that grand finals, because I think, like Raven
Yes.
mentioned, it was one of the closest matches that we've had in this entire series, one of the few 2-1 games that we've seen. So that being a best of 5, I'm super excited to see what kind of map pool we're going to be seeing and how these two teams will be facing off against each other. I really don't know who I'm going to be supporting, because we've casted both of these teams so far, and they've both been so impressive. I'm just happy that I'm going to be able to sit back and enjoy it, because it's going to be a super great match.
One might say it's a barn burner, but there we have it. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies, gentlemen, boys, gals, non-binary pals. Zach, thank you so much for casting with me yet again. It's been a wonderful
Always a
pleasure, as always. So stoked I've been able to cast with you this season. And we'll see you all at that grand final. Goodbye.
Woo.
I hope you're gonna lay it out for me, 'cause I'm